Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Working Trader. Today is Thursday, 4th of December. We are looking at the Euro USD daily, 4-hour and 1-hour analysis, and coming up with trade ideas for the day. So let's look at the Forex Factory before we do a recap of yesterday. So today's Thursday. We have our impact news at 1:30 for the US, which is unemployment claims. So this is the only piece of news we have today that is of importance. So this one could cause a little bit of more volatility in the market. Okay, it could cause a bit more volatility in the market. However, we are only looking at news just to be aware of when we can expect that volatility to be injected. Okay, outside of key time windows, we are just looking at the news to see when that volatility will likely come in. So, recapping yesterday. So yesterday, I was saying that we had these relative equal highs, okay, and we're expecting them to be taken. Okay, we're expecting that to be run, and that happened. So as you can see, yesterday we had a strong bullish candle, and it was a bullish day, pretty much from the start of the day to the end of the day. And the supply failed, and the supply failed as well. Okay. So price did as was expected. So we ran all the liquidity that was available. Okay, these equal highs, and in this case we've also eliminated these two areas of supply on the 4-hour, or 3 areas of supply on the 4-hour as well. All right, so price was really aggressive. As you can see, we had a strong bullish run. Okay, strong push, no pullback. All right, but what have we done? We've also left relatively equal lows at the bottom there. So that's something to look out for. Okay, so then on the 1-hour, we're expecting I was expecting price to at least mitigate this POI before we start looking for longs. However, price just stopped here. Okay, that wasn't a very clean or good POI. That's why I did not mark it. Okay, because there's no fractal structure break. It's just we just have a bearish doji candle. Okay, or we have indecision candles, right? But every candle high is breaking the prior candle's high, so we're just making high highs, high highs, high highs, high highs all the way. Okay, so I didn't recognize this as an area to mark as a POI. Okay, so we could not capitalize on that trade. So this was the only area that I could see which I wanted to capitalize on. Okay, so however, price did not pull back, and then price just made a shallow retracement and then continued, okay, to take that weak high, as we had mentioned. Okay, to take this weak high, as we had mentioned, and then it even continued to take out this strong high. Okay, strong high. So this is internal of the internal, and this is the proper internal. So that high has been taken. So this means that we are now bullish on the internal trend on the 1-hour. Okay, the internal trend on the 1-hour is bullish. So if we look at structure, so rather before I look at structure, let's go back to the daily and then we start our analysis for the day. Okay, analysis for today. So supply has been eliminated, so we take that off. Supply has been eliminated, and now price is within this overall supply area that has been mitigated once, twice, and now 3 times. And with each mitigation we expect deeper penetration. Okay, we expect deeper penetration. So what we have here is we could say that, okay, so remember this is our strong daily internal high, so the daily is still bearish. Okay, the daily is still bearish. That's on the internal structure, it's still bearish. So this could be liquidity that has been taken in order for the bearish trend to continue. Okay, for price to take out this weak low, or this is just a move for price to come to this new demand area. Okay, this decisional before price resumes. Okay, so what that means is we're gonna mark this as our demand. We're gonna mark this as our demand. So this is a potential area price could reverse, could be pulling back to. Okay, there's a potential area price could be pulling back to. So let's mark out all relevant demand areas. Let me just confirm something. Okay, all right, so just mark out relevant demands. So we have demand over there on the daily, and then we have this demand here on the daily. So pretty much these areas, that one, okay, we did break structure, we did break this fractal high, and then price mitigated. So this is mitigated, so this is the only fresh unmitigated POI. This one, it was mitigated on departure, and this one is, we could say it's still fresh, it's still unmitigated. Okay, so daily, so we could look at this as a sweep. Okay, sweep of the highs, so that could be a sweep of the highs, and price is now pulling back. Okay, so we say price could pull back. All right, this could be a pullback to take out the swing, the internal weak low, or this could just be a pullback into this demand for price to then continue bullish to take out the strong high, because we could have made our strong higher low. Okay, so remember the overall swing trend is bullish, so this could be our overall higher swing low. Okay, so let's go down to the 4H. So looking at the 4H, is the same thing. This is our internal swing trend. Okay, the overall internal swing trend. We have an unmitigated 4-hour extreme supply zone. Where price looked to be drawn to. However, it has not mitigated that zone. Okay, it has not mitigated that zone. And then this becomes our sub break of structure. Okay, so as it stands, this is what we're looking at. So within this, we do not have a clear a clear zone to mark. So, but we do have this bearish candle. So it's kind of like the similar example on the 1 hour chart yesterday, where we were expecting price to pull down to the fractal structure zone, which it did not, but simply pulled down to the bearish candle in the bearish trend, in the bullish trend, and then reversed from there. So this is sort of a similar scenario. So I'm just going to mark that. Okay, so price could come down, give a reaction, right, to continue to maybe mitigate this supply and then continue bearish. All right, or if this fails, then price will just continue and then at least mitigate this and then probably give a reaction as well. Okay, so quite a few options of what price could do. So let's look at the 1 hour. So looking at the 1 hour, we've had a so this was a break of structure on the internal, okay, and then we took out all this liquidity, and then we've even broken the overall internal structure high. Okay, so what that means is boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay. So this is my current swing range. That'll be my current swing range right there. So I can then remove this. So that's our current swing range. Okay. So on the 1 hour, this is our nested demand at extreme. Nested demand at extreme. And then now we have a newly created, this is our decisional. So I'll just keep those candles. Okay. So are we expecting price to continue bullish from here? It could, because we're in an uptrend. However, right now we've had a choke on the 1 hour. So that's choke bearish. So obviously it could just be to facilitate the pullback, to mitigate this area, give a reaction. However, I would think that this would be eliminated and price will continue to at least mitigate the 4 hour demand before it continues to mitigate the 4 hour supply, if that is going to happen. All right, else if it hits this 1 hour demand and then continues bullish, it's also an option. Okay, it's also an option, but does it look likely? What are the odds? Let's look at this. So this 1 hour, so you could think of it in this way. This is a 1 hour demand fighting against a daily supply. Okay, so which one is stronger, daily or 1 hour? Right, so the daily is stronger, so it's likely that the 1 hour will be run over. Okay, it's likely that the 1 hour supply will be run over. 1 hour demand will be run over, and then we are likely at least to mitigate this 4 hour. Why? Because it's nested in a daily demand. Okay, this is daily demand. So because it's nested in a daily demand, now price is likely to then rebound and then take out this weak high. All right, So the idea is still the same. We're still bullish. 4 hour, we've just had a strong bullish. Now we've had a choke on the 4 hour as well. So we have a choke on the 4 hour. So that gives us this fresh supply on the 4 hour. Okay. So this could be to facilitate just the pullback, right? This could be just to facilitate the pullback. And then what do we have? Down here we have relatively equal lows. That's possible liquidity to target at some point. Okay, that's possible liquidity to target at some point. So let's see. So right now, this is what we have. Well and truly, we've had a 4 hour choke, which means we're expecting a pullback. So the pullback, could it stop in the middle of nowhere? So if you look at the 4 hour, right, this would be in the middle of nowhere. This is where that 1 hour demand is. So I don't think it will be able to stop price. Okay, price could react, of course, right, mitigate this new supply that has been formed, and then take out the 1 hour demand, okay, to at least mitigate this daily demand, which has a nested 4 hour and 1 hour in it, and then we could have then a bigger reaction. Okay, we could then have a bigger reaction. However, because there's also, you know, relatively equal lows, you know, we could call it trend line liquidity. This could also easily cause price to run, okay, and take out this area, because remember I said this POI is not really the strongest, okay, because it's not a fractal structure POI. It's simply just a bearish candle, and then, you know, in the middle of bullish candles. So it's not really the strongest. And then this could be a real strong area for price to then, you know, continue the bullish move. Okay. So well and truly, I would say that the bias for today, whilst we are overly bullish, right, but in the interim we are kind of bearish, because we are expecting price to pull back, at least to mitigate this area. Okay, at least to mitigate this area. And then once that is mitigated, then we can then be bullish. So until that happens, my bias for the day would be bearish. Okay, would be bearish. So my expectation is that this will be run over, price will blast through, and then maybe if we mitigate this 1 hour demand that we're expecting price to come back to yesterday, it might give a better reaction, right? But ultimately this would be a better POI to look for longs from. Okay, so this is today's analysis. Please, if you are finding value in this and you want me to continue, please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and share the video. Okay, other than that, working trader out, and have a good day.